Good morning, special needs mamas. Happy Monday. I hope you had a good weekend. Today is going to be a little bit different. If you saw my post from yesterday, I'm participating in a challenge to tell nothing but the truth of the behind the scenes stuff that nobody really ever gets to see on social media. We all have a tendency to post our happy moments and our happy pictures, and we either go on social media to complain, really, or we go on social media to pretend we have our shit together. So another coach posted this challenge because it's the end of the year, and in the coaching industry, in the personal training industry, it tends to be the time of the year where it's all about promoting your next launch, promoting your next group program, promoting your services, trying to fill up your calendar for the next year, essentially, with clients. And with that usually comes a lot of marketing, a lot of promoting and talking about yourself and your services and how you can help other people, and throwing all kinds of promises out there on what you can do for your clients. And that method never really sat right with me in the first place. I don't like sales in the traditional sense, so when this coach posted this challenge, it was all about not talking about your services and all that comes with every program that you offer, and taking on everything that you're struggling with, pointing that out right in your face and telling you how I can help you with that. And instead, her challenge is for 20 days to talk about all the behind the scenes stuff, to talk about the coach's own flaws and insecurities and fears and backstory of how they got to where they are, and to sit back and trust that the right clients will come along just because you're telling the truth, because you're telling the whole story, not just what everybody wants to hear. And if you know me, that's what I'm all about anyway. I'm all about being honest and putting it all out there. But there are certain parts of my life that I haven't discussed because they're very raw and vulnerable. And to be honest, if I'm on video, I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth when I talk about these things. As a disclaimer, this is probably not going to be kid-friendly content for the next 20 days. And then if I cry, I can't talk, so that doesn't make for a very good video. So I'm stalling a little bit because I'm extremely nervous about what I'm going to talk about today. I have never said it on video. I've talked about it before back in September through a written post that I've done. It's something that hasn't even really been discussed within my family. So yes, I'm stalling because I have no idea how to put this, how to word it, and I'm really nervous and scared. I have my liquid courage right now, my coffee. I'm scared because I know it's going to trigger some people. I know it's going to make some people mad. I have no idea what that in turn is going to do to my business. But at the same time, I value honesty above anything else. And I expect that from all of my clients that I work with, whether it's my one-on-one clients or the ones who have already signed up for the group coaching program that starts. All my clients, no matter who it is, no matter what level I work with them, I expect honesty from them because it's the only way to move forward, and it's the only way to really just deal with all your shit so you can make the change happen. So I accepted the challenge not even knowing what the hell I'm going to say for 20 days. So I figured day one, let's start it off with the big one. The big one that put a big wedge in my family, in my marriage, in my life. It's what ultimately led me to hit rock bottom. It's what led me to not be able to move forward for a long time, for years, quite a few years. And if you saw the headline, you already know what I'm talking about. If you're a special needs mom who has a child who is medically fragile, who depends on life support, then you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm sharing this today because I have talked to other moms who feel the same way, but are too afraid to say it, to even say it to their own family. And I'm sharing it because I did say it to my own family, and it needed to be said, but it also caused a lot of problems. I still believe it was the right thing to do, to say what was on my mind. I don't believe holding in is ever the answer, even if what you're saying to somebody else is not what they want to hear, even if it's painful. So ultimately what it came down to was this: Wyatt was born, and I will get to all your comments later. I apologize, I can't read those right now or I'm gonna cry and then I won't be able to say what I'm gonna say. And when I cry, I can't talk. So Wyatt was born, perfect pregnancy, nothing going on. Labor delivery was easiest out of all of my 4 kids. And he crashed right after birth. He wasn't breathing on his own, so rushed to the hospital, NICU stay, the whole 9 yards. It took over a month to get a diagnosis for what was actually going on with him. And it became clear that he would be dependent on life support for his entire life. There is no cure for what he has. And inevitably, as most of the special needs moms that I've talked to who are in similar situations have said, the doctor came up to me. Of course, this only happened when I was by myself. My husband was not there at the time. So that kind of plays into what I'm about to tell you. I was by myself with Wyatt in the NICU. It was another one of those up and down days where yesterday was good and then that day not so much, and we never knew if we was going to make it to the next day. And it was that inevitable conversation with the doctor of the question of the quality of life and whether this is what we want for him. And I'm trying really hard right now not to cry, damn it. The problem that started for me with that question was not the question itself, because that question was already going through my mind. From the day he was born, that question was going through my mind. I just didn't say it out loud to anybody. But when it became clear that he has to have a trach and he is forever dependent on life support, on a ventilator to keep him alive every night, the problem that came with that is I didn't know if I wanted him to live that way. Because if the roles were reversed, if it were me, I wouldn't want to live that way. However, that's a lot easier to say about yourself than it is when you're looking at your own child that you've carried for 9 months and that you had all these life expectations for. So maybe to some parents that comes easy. Maybe to some parents that decision right there with the doctor would have been, hell no, we're not taking him off. But to me, it didn't come that easy. To me, it went, the idea of my son living on life support went against everything I believe down to my core. And so much shit came up with that. And this is where the curse words are probably going to come flying, so I apologize ahead of time. I personally, and everybody's opinion on this is different, so please take from this whatever you will. I personally believe in the principle of simply survival of the fittest. And I know that sounds really harsh as a mom to say that about your own kids, but that's what I believe to the core. I personally believe that not every medical advancement is a good thing. I believe that not everything should be cured and fixed. And if I had to live the way that my son lives, I wouldn't want that. Because I'm very independent. I would never want somebody else to have to take care of me. So for me to have to make that decision for my son went against everything that I believed in. And of course, he's my son. God. Fuck. Now, 5 years into it, I'm glad I made the decision that I did. But at the time, I had so much trouble. Son of a bitch. I told you I can't talk when I cry. I had so much trouble living with that decision. Not because of how hard it was going to be for us as a family, how much our life was going to change, but because I was scared out of my mind that one day he's going to come up to me and say he doesn't want to live like this either. It took me a long time to cope with that. And I'm talking years. This guilt trip in my mind that I had made a decision for my son to live this way, to live in a way that I wouldn't even want to live myself, haunted me for 3 years. This is not something I could just check off. And then when it became evident that we had more issues than we anticipated with him, when he came home and he had these horrible breath holding episodes 20 plus times a day where we had to resuscitate him every single day, and we didn't know why that was happening and nobody could fix it, no doctor could answer what was going on, and nothing would make it better. And every day we were resuscitating him 20 times a day just because he didn't want to lay on his back, he didn't want to be touched. It certainly makes you wonder, is this a quality of life? Did I make the right decision? Is he gonna wake up one day and tell me I don't want to live this way? So when he came home from the NICU, he spent 3 months in the NICU. My husband and I had to take on different roles. He went back to work. He had to provide for the whole family. We're a family of 6. I had to give up my business, my personal training business at the time, and I stayed home with Wyatt and I became his caretaker. And we tried at-home nursing for a while. It did not work for our family. To be quite honest, there were a lot of nurses who simply couldn't handle him, especially with the breath holding episodes. Even the best nurses would freeze up. They would not know what to do with him. So it fell back on me. And I had 3 other kids on top of everything else. And it wears you down. The fear. The constant fear that maybe this next time when he holds his breath, I'm not going to be able to save him. Maybe the next time I'm resuscitating him, it won't be enough to bring him back around. And then not knowing how to fix it. So it wasn't just the initial question from the doctor, whether this is the quality of life that we want for our child. It was the continuous struggle to keep him alive every single day, not knowing what he's going to be like 5 years from that point. I'm happy to say now, at 5 years old, he's just like any other toddler, running around, jumping off couches and doing all kinds of crazy boy stuff. And now I can say he's just another 5-year-old with extra luggage. But the first 3 years, it was a constant guilt trip in my head, a constant question of, did I make the right decision? And my husband and I were not on the same page about this. So it's not just a quality of life question. It wasn't just that for me. It was more. It was a matter of, it wasn't even a question of, can I do this? Can I raise a kid who's different, who has complex medical needs that nobody even understood, that nobody could tell us what the future will hold for him? It was a question of, this is going against absolutely everything that I believe in. And I'm making the opposite decision for my child. And every day I was scared to death. Today is going to be the day that he ultimately kills himself by holding his breath and I can't save him. So yes, I'm putting it out there because I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. And if I have to be the one to stand up here and cry on camera, to tell the story, and to say that it is normal to feel this way and to go through all this emotional shit when you're a special needs parent, then so be it. I'll be that voice. I don't care. It needs to be said, because it's not a matter of standing in the hospital room and telling the doctor, yes, I'm on board with this, or no, I'm not on board with this. This doesn't stop when you answer that question. That emotional shit that you have to deal with doesn't stop when you leave the NICU. It gets worse when you're home, because now you're on your own having to deal with it. Some stuff is a lot easier when you're out of the hospital, yes, because you feel like you're in control of your life again and you're not living in the hospital. But the ultimate responsibility then falls on you, and that is scary as hell, and it makes you question absolutely everything. It not only makes you question your ability, it makes you question your sanity, it makes you question your own idea of what life is all about. And having that doubt in my mind that I made the right decision for him almost killed me. I could not make a different decision for my son, but at the same time, I could not live with my own decision. So, I promised myself that all of these 20 days that I'm sharing all this shitty crap, I'm gonna end it on a positive note, because that's what I do, and I want to give the moms who are in the same situation a little sense of hope. I always hated it when people told me things will get easier as he gets older. And while I don't regret the decision anymore, while I've forgiven myself for making that decision for him and for thinking that way for too long, I will still not stand here and tell you or say that life gets easier. I think easier is the wrong term to use. I think it's just different. Each year, sometimes each month is different. You overcome one hurdle, you face another, and you move forward. So, while it took me 3 years to get over this, it took me hitting rock bottom and contemplating whether I wanted to wake up the next day to deal with this. What I ultimately did is I made a decision. And I know this sounds easier said than done. Believe me, I've been there. It's not that simple. It doesn't happen overnight. But when I was at rock bottom, 3 years into that, I made a decision to trust myself that I would be able to do this no matter what. I had made a decision for him, and that's it. There is no more going back. There's no more questioning the what ifs. I had to make the decision for myself that from that point forward, I was no longer going to question myself. I was going to take myself out of the situation and say, maybe this is not what I would have chosen for myself, but this is what I chose for my child. And from his perspective, he doesn't know any better. This is all he knows. This is all his life has ever been. He doesn't know any different. So I cannot sit here and assume that he wouldn't want this. So I made a decision when I was at rock bottom to separate my own thoughts and feelings about this from his, because he's his own person. I cannot control what he's going to think about his life in the future. All I can do, the best I can do, is accept him for who he is, with all his medical luggage in tow, and go from there. I had to let go of the guilt. I had to forgive myself for, I don't even know what, to be honest, for putting myself through this emotional crap, for going against my beliefs. I had to forgive myself for it and decide that from this point forward, I'm just going to look forward, because that's all we have. I had to stop trying to fix him. There's nothing to be fixed. This is the way he is. There is no cure. He's never gonna live without a life support machine. And I had to accept that. I had to stop trying to fix him and just move forward. And maybe going through all this crap is why I'm so fucking good at what I do now as a coach. I don't know. I don't have the magic answer. If you're looking to me to give you the answer that's gonna fix your life and make it all better, I don't have it. I will tell you that right off the bat. I don't have a magic cure for you to wake up tomorrow and everything is rosy. You have to deal with your own shit to move forward, with your own baggage, and baggage will come up that you didn't even know existed. Things from your past that have nothing to do with even being a mom will come up when you become a special needs parent. And you have to deal with it. It's the only way. I wholeheartedly believe it's the only way to move forward and to actually see what is right in front of you and to choose to look at the positives and to choose to step up to the plate and put yourself out there and make shit happen, even when the odds are against you. So that's my spiel for today. Whoa, what a day one of the honest truth. I'm not nervous anymore, if that makes anybody feel better. It makes me feel better. So I don't know what I'm going to talk about tomorrow, but today that was pretty much the big whammy right there. The big one that affected me for, like I said, 3 years. And it affects everything else that I was struggling with over the next several years. It affects how I do things now. And I know what I just said is probably going to trigger some people. I know this might piss some people off. I know we all have different beliefs. And I really don't care. I don't wholeheartedly, whatever your belief is, I don't care. You need to do whatever it is that helps you cope. For me, it's not religion. For me, it's not looking for some greater purpose on why Wyatt is the way he is. For me, it's not medical advancements. I'm not a fan of them. But my kid happens to be life dependent on them. So everybody has to deal with it in their own terms, in their own time. But I felt the need to come on here and accept this challenge, this 20-day challenge, and really give you the backstory, give you all my flaws, my insecurities, my fears, my journey of being faced with special needs parenting unexpectedly and going downhill fast and having to find my way back out. And I'm hoping that maybe me sharing this will help somebody. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out into the void. I don't know. I don't want to talk about my business. I don't want to sell my services to anybody. I know I need to. I have to make money and pay bills. But I don't want to come on here and just tell you everything is going to be rainbows and butterflies and unicorns and rosy and life is good and everything is positive. I have shitty days too. A lot of them. My job is to be positive for you and to point out the positive and to hold you to a higher standard. But I have days just like you. I'm not that different from you. I'm really not. And my goal is not to sit here and convince you that you need help, because I 100% believe, based on everybody I've worked with so far, based on everybody I've worked with, even in my personal training business, and based on everything I've been through myself, you know when you need help. And you are a smart and capable woman, and if you need help, I know you will find it yourself. And I know if you want me to help you, you will reach out to me. So I'm not gonna sit here and promote all this shit that I'm doing in my business. Okay, it's not shit, it's actually good stuff. I'm incredibly good at what I do. But I'm not one to give you the sales pitch. I'm one to give you the real, honest truth. As uncomfortable as this life call was today, and as painful as it is for me to go back to that place and think about the person that I was then, it also makes me who I am today. And it also what probably makes me into the coach that I am today. I expect honesty from my clients, so the least I can do is give you the true insight behind the scenes scoop on what I went through and what it really looks like behind the scenes. So, if you want my help at some point, you know where to find me. I don't need to give you the big spiel on that. All my services are listed on my website, so I'm not going to do a big promotion for this month like every other coach is doing. I'm just going to tell you the truth, and it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be very positive either, because if I show you my flaws and my fears and my insecurities, that's not very empowering. But I'm hoping by sharing it, I'm empowering you to face your own truth and to face your own fears and insecurities and to have the courage to move forward. So I don't know, maybe this is all for nothing, you tell me, but I'm hoping that, I don't even know, I'm hoping this gives you some sort of strength, some sort of power to face your life the way it is right now, because where you are right now is perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with everything you're feeling and thinking, and it's a process. It was a huge process for me. It still is. There's still plenty of days where I don't want to do this. I don't want to do the special needs parenting. I don't want to do parenting in general. But we move forward, so I hope this helps somebody in some way. And I'm gonna keep up with these 20 days of giving you the behind the scenes scoop. If you have any questions, any comments, you know where to find me. You can comment here, you can message me, you can go on my website, you name it. You're a smart and capable woman. I don't need to chase after you. If you have questions, you can come to me. Okay, you know I'm always available, and I'm always in my group, Momentum Empowering Special Needs Moms. So I will come back to your comments a little bit later after I calm my emotions down a little bit. I will finish my coffee and then I'll come back and answer any questions you have. Talk to you ladies tomorrow. Bye.